Hey folks, it's Dr. Mike for Renaissance Periodization, and I have an interesting list of common beginner mistakes that you can avoid if you're a beginner. Just don't make them, and they'll be great for you because they'll save you lots of time and effort in the gym and give you better results. If you are a personal trainer or an online coach, you can watch this video and really learn how training beginners works and make sure not to do the bad stuff so that all of your potential future clients, many of whom are beginners, get the A+ service from you. The third group of folks I'm targeting with this video is people who involuntarily capture other people, not even at the gym. You just get someone in a big potato sack bag, dump them in the back of an unmarked white van in the Walmart parking lot, take them to your own private gym, and they're like, oh my God, please don't kill me. Shut up, wipe those tears off your face. Okay. You're like, you're going to work out for the first time ever. They're like, what do you mean work out? Like, you be quiet. You're going to do lunges and squats, and you're not going to make any of these mistakes because I'm through with beginner mistakes. Do you understand me? And they're like, oh yeah. But then they have a fine time. And afterwards, like, I was actually pretty good workout. I might start doing this by myself. And you're like, really? Even after I let you go in the Walmart parking lot? And they're like, yeah, maybe. And then after you let them go and they wave your cargo van away, they'll probably say like, I'm never doing that shit. Even though getting kidnapped was kind of cool, that lunge squat combo sucked. It really was torture. I'm filing a police report. In any case, all that aside, at least 5 mistakes that I can think of in beginner training that happen so often they are worthy of mention. Mistake number 1, and this is super fucking common, is beginners often bite off more than they can chew in at least 2 ways that I can think of. First, their sessions are often too long. There is nothing in this world that beginner to resistance training needs that takes more than like 45 minutes to do in one session. Some people just start with 2-hour workouts. The number one reason that they do this is the Rocky Balboa mentality of, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to work really hard and get tons of benefits really quick. But there's a point of diminishing returns with working out in one session, and there's even a point of negative returns. So that point isn't very hard to reach for beginners. It's like 45 minutes of relatively tough activity is more than enough. When you're an intermediate, when you're really advanced, you'll need to spend more time in the gym. Save that shit for when you need it, okay? So 1 hour or less workouts is almost standard for beginners. And the second thing is, a lot of people try to do lots of sessions. They're going to say, oh, I'm going to get started working out. I'm going to train 7 days a week, no days off. And you coax them and they're like, okay, 6 days, but I'm really serious. The thing is, beginners burn out like crazy. Beginners burn out more predictably than they get results. That's how predictable burnouts are. You guys have been to your gym, New Year's resolution time, January 1st through January 15th or so. There's so many people in the gym. You're like, our gym will have to expand tenfold if it's going to have this many members sustainably. And they never do. Why? Because your gym and everyone else knows, except for those people, that after the first 2 weeks, most of them are gone. And after 6 weeks, you'll never see anyone but 3 or 4 of those new people again. One of the reasons that people burn themselves out is because they set these Napoleonic goals for themselves. They're thinking, I'm going to train 6 days a week for 2 hours at a time. Napoleon thought that he was going to march all the way to Moscow and conquer all that shit. Vladimir Putin thought that he was just going to march into Kiev. That shit didn't work either, motherfucker. So in any case, beginners have this interesting confluence of fates. On the one hand, they're easily burnt out by many sessions a week. On the other hand, their stimulus sensitivity is so high that they could just do 2 sessions whole body per week and get undifferentiably great results from people that train 4 days a week for like 3 weeks straight. And then just a little more volume increase and they hang in for 6 weeks. Why would you train more than is necessary to get the best results? The only upside is risk of burnout. So my huge impetus to beginner folks starting out, personal trainers and online coaches that are working with beginners or about to, and people who go to Walmart parking lots to steal people away and make them work out, is not too many sessions. 4 sessions or less per week. A good place to start with many beginners is 2 or 3 weight training sessions per week. That's it. After several months, when they have amazing results just with that tiny amount of work, if they want to do a little bit more, then you let them. But they have to ask for it because you don't want to impose it on them because the chance of burnout is very, very high. That's the first problem. Don't bite off more than the beginner can chew, which is not a lot. Second, inconsistency. So yes, beginners need to be pulled away from doing too many sessions or going for too long because you don't want them to burn out. But whatever it is they commit to that is within the realm of ability, you have to coax them to make sure they show up. Beginners are terrible at inconsistency. And for them, even as beginners, if they skip a whole week of training here and there, the results are going to be much tougher to come by. But even if they train only twice a week and consistently make every single week 2 sessions, hey, that's stable, dependable, great progress that will change their physiques and their health over time. So as a personal trainer and as a coach, you want to get on your clients psychologically, culturally, at the very beginning of training, gently, calmly, politely, reinforcing constantly the idea of consistency. And you can tell them, look, there's myths here. No, you don't have to train for 2 hours. No, you don't have to bleed out of your face when you train. No, you don't have to train 6 days a week. And a lot of this news, they're going to be like, oh, that's so great. And then you got to say, but the sessions you do commit to, we need you here because you can't build a skyscraper without physically fucking being there to build it. Get all the raw materials in place. It doesn't fucking matter. You got to do the work consistently over and over and over again, right? So skipping is no good. The client says, listen, I normally train with you Tuesday and Friday, but this coming week, Wednesday, I have a business trip. Let's just can Tuesday and start next week. Up. You could say, hey, that would work totally well, but why don't we get you in Monday so you get at least 1 session that week? And they go, fuck. All right, you're right. And that consistency, even just once a week, maintains all of their gains, maintains their technique momentum. And when they come back the next week after the business trip, they haven't missed a beat. They just took a little pause. But if you're gone half the weeks and there the other halves, even for beginners, training a muscle once every 2 weeks may only increase it a little bit in size and strength, and then just maintain it indefinitely at a pathetic level of strength and size. Point 3. Avoiding the hard stuff. Remember, a lot of times beginners don't have that juggernaut mindset of I'll run through all the fucking pieces of equipment in this gym if it makes me marginally bigger or stronger. So that's a tough attitude to just have. And a lot of stuff in the gym is easier than the other stuff. You may want to do the nice machines with the padding. You may not want to do the barbell compound basics, the squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead presses, upright rows, barbell curls, all that crap. It hurts. It sucks. I want to do the easy stuff. Here's the thing. The hard stuff builds a few things we really need. First, it has an incredibly high raw stimulus magnitude in most cases, which means the bench press just builds upper body muscle really fucking well. And because the beginner is usually so weak that fatigue doesn't really enter the picture much, so the stimulus to fatigue ratio, just because that huge raw stimulus magnitude, is unreal high. So as you get bigger and stronger, the compound moves, because of systemic fatigue problems, they start to not have as high of an SFR as the other moves. And eventually, if you're really advanced, machines and free weights just about equal. But in the beginning, free weights really are almost, in most cases, better than machines, especially for beginners, because they can take it. Now, another really big benefit is that these moves build the fundamental technique for executing on every other machine. If you want to know how to do a press with your legs, or a press with your arms, or a pull with your arms, or some kind of vertical pull, or this way or that way, these fundamental movement patterns that are replicated in one way, shape, or form in every other exercise, machines or not, they are best taught in a free weight environment with barbells and dumbbells. And that baseline technique, you show me somebody who could do a deep controlled squat with a barbell, I'll teach them to hack squat in 2 repetitions. You show me someone who's been on the leg press for a while and never squatted, I'm going to teach them to hack squat in, 3 or 4 sets of wobbly bullshit. If you can competently master the compound heavy basics, you are a master of those and any machines you want to use very shortly. If you raise yourself on machines, each machine doesn't transfer very well to the other because that core competency of moving your body and some weight in a free space, you're in charge of all the movements, all the stabilization aspects, critical. Lastly, one of the really good things about the hard stuff, the stuff that requires maintaining balance and posture in a rigid core under heavy load, it fucking hardens up beginners so that they don't get hurt doing other stuff later. I've known people who began bodybuilding And they started with leg extensions and leg presses and all this machine stuff, and their quads got really big and strong. But they would always hurt their lower backs. Why? Because they never did anything free weight that would challenge the lower backs in a graded exposure to make them stronger. If you have the lower back of a 1,000-pound deadlifter, let's just pretend, what the fucking bodybuilding is going to hurt your lower back? Nothing. It's a joke. That's like training in MMA and then having like 2-year-olds punch you in the face. Doesn't matter. But if you start with machines and you never get the exposure to that compound heavy basic that require you to brace under load and be stable and strong and build overall resilience in the gym, you're going to build fragile fucking clients, and you don't want any part of that, and neither do they. So a real good idea in most cases of people that are orthopedically cleared to do the compound basics, beginners get that shit end of the stick. Squats, deadlifts, lunges, pull-ups, barbells, dumbbells, all that hard fucking shit that nobody wants to do. Instead, plug into a pink machine with blue handles that are soft and puffy. The machine even smells nice and it plays Enya. Well, that would be quite nice, actually. Turn up that Enya on that machine, stand next to the machine and do fucking barbell overhead presses. That'll build some goddamn ovaries on your body. In your body? Yeah. They belong somewhere of that, I'm sure. Again, sex makes me nervous, so I didn't pay attention in class when they were going over that stuff. Don't let them avoid the hard stuff. You as a trainer do not be complicit in it. Period. Number 4. Huge problem beginners make is they advance relative effort over technique, which in layman's terms means they're trying to go really close to failure. And what ends up happening is their technique sucks progressively worse with every rep they get close to failure. And because they essentially do so many bad technique reps every session, they learn bad technique, and their technique stays bad or gets worse over the weeks and months of training. I've had people who have been training with another trainer for a month or a year come to me to be a training client back when I was a personal trainer with Mr. Nick Shaw in New York City about a decade ago. And they would be like, I'd ask them like, hey, have you squatted before? They'd be like, yeah, absolutely. Show me a squat. And what they show me is like if Van Gogh did art, but he did it with like 5 LSD tabs, and he was also drunk and hurting himself at the time. I assume he's probably hurting himself anyway, but drunk and 4 LSD tabs. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And how the fuck did they get like that? Well, it turns out they were taking every set to failure, and they were never being coached very well on technique, so that the set ended up becoming like some kind of writhing, wriggling mess that you survive instead of purposeful execution of a distinct set of technical parameters. And when failure occurs, then it occurs. Here's the thing. Beginners don't need to train to failure because they get amazing results training really far from failure. And because failure tends to impose a lot of pain and instability that challenges technique and makes it degrade when it's not real solid yet, it's a bad choice for beginners. The best thing you can do as a beginner is train very far away from failure and focus on doing 2 things. 1, getting your technique fucking rock solid. Once your technique is rock solid, you add weight to the bar slowly and check to see if your technique is solid again for sets of 5 to 10 reps. And insofar as your technique is still good, you add more weight. If your technique is not good, the next session you don't add more weight because you didn't earn it. And then you do the same shit again, same sets and reps again. But this time, your coach or your trainer or you tell yourself, I'm going to have excellent technique on every fucking repetition that I do today. And when you can demonstrate excellent technique and you're still far away from failure, you get more weight on the bar. Now, eventually, as you realize a few years from that, you'll be able to fail gracefully with excellent technique, but then you're not a beginner anymore. So beginners, we need to really side on learning that technique shit, keeping them the fuck away from failure until they can demonstrate to us or themselves that even as they get close to fail, their technique is rock fucking solid. Advancing relative effort and saying whatever techniques, whatever, is stupid as fuck, because technique is something that is really not that hard to learn, but bad technique, and this is notorious in sports, is incredibly difficult to unlearn and relearn. If you learned how to squat shitty and you're now squatting right, as you get close to failure and your subconscious drives turn on and your conscious mind is just telling you not to die, you may revert back to bad technique because that's what you learned first. Is that a solvable problem? Yes, but it takes like 3 times longer to solve bad technique issues than it did to grow that bad technique. So my best advice to beginners and to folks training them, focus on technique and demonstrating good technique. Make the good technique be the thing that earns more weight on the bar rather than more weight on the bar is just something you prescribe, and good technique is assumed. That's how intermediates should train. But we already assume they know good technique. With beginners, that's not the case. And good technique is something that serves you for the rest of your training career. And if you don't have good technique, you're just exposing yourself to really shitty stimulus to fatigue ratios and a higher risk of injury ad infinitum as long as you continue to train with shitty technique. Lastly, the fifth satanic sin. My wife and I have been watching some cult documentaries. Boy, they're always fun. And they always remind you, Satan is always close. I wonder if Satan is wise to my jujitsu game, motherfucker. In any case, fifth thing that beginners do that's a really stupid idea is they try advanced programming. Folks, advanced programming is designed for the advanced lifter. Advanced programming is very intricate, very nuanced, very complicated, and a fucking pain in the ass to actually do. And if you're a beginner and you can get equivalent growth from barely doing diddly dick to doing all the advanced shit in the world, why in the fuck would you all the advanced shit? And because advanced people train really close to failure, because they heavily rely on mind-muscle connection and perceiving where your lats are before you contract, there's a lot of shit there that beginners can't even do. Here is a pretty decent analogy of what a beginner using advanced system looks like. All right, so I got to fight some zombies. 5 zombies. I'm a beginner. What's my best tool? And let's say old school zombies. So they're like, they move like a mile an hour. Like you can run around them in circles and they only catch you on every pass. You don't even turn around. I'm thinking like a spiked baseball bat or a machete is golden. So we don't even give you a gun because you just shoot your own dick off. Maybe if you've used guns before, we give you a gun with the real simple instructions right on there on the gun. You just bang and miss that one and bang. Fine, right? The most powerful weapon you did not use. What if we give you a really powerful, an advanced weapon? Remember, 5 dumbass zombies coming up to you at a mile an hour, and we put you inside of the U.S. local air defense network. You got your F-35s on there, various support packages, F-22s, and AWACS is on the screen, except you can't read any of that because you're not qualified to read a fucking radar screen or an integrated comm screen. You have no idea what's going on. And your lieutenants and stuff are like, sir, we get the permission to attack. And you're like, yeah, attack. And they're like, what are we attacking? What are the coordinates? You're like, what the fuck are coordinates? You're not qualified to operate that system. That is way more powerful than a fucking baseball bat with spikes on it. It would be nominally easy for any military aircraft to kill 5 zombies on the ground. But you're not able to do that stuff because you have no fucking clue what's going on. Beginners think that advanced is better. It's not better. It's just something that the advanced need to progress. As a beginner, you have better genetics than them. Your responses are better than the advanced because they're easier. So use the simple, easy shit you're competent with, get your awesome, easy games because you get them anyway. And then when you need it, you go to the advanced levels of stuff. Right? Your kids are hungry. You fucking do a easy mac and cheese recipe and they think it's the greatest thing in the world. You don't invite Emeril Lagasse to your fucking house to make them the best fucking meal they've ever had because to them, it's all the same. They're like, oh, this meal was good, Emeril. It was almost as good as cut up hot dogs I had last night. He's like, fuck, what the hell am I here for? Same idea. All right. So beginners can do really simple shit and benefit. And that's good because you want them to do simple shit because it's simple technique, simple understanding. They can take ownership for what's going on. They can realize what's going on. They can track progress real easy, and all the great things come from that. Advanced stuff we'll save for the advanced. Cool? Folks, my last bit of advice to you, you don't need a spike bat for 5 slow zombies. You can just fucking use your son of a bitch zombie. See you guys next time.